What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, latest and updates, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So NIO is up 1.99% during their pre-market, getting a lot of good volume, so shows that it does want to continue this good push higher, largely based on the technicals. On a macro standpoint, there isn't any data points coming out this whole week, to be fully fair. It's kind of a quiet one. Aside from that, though, there isn't any specific news from NIO, no SEC filings, no speculative topics that I haven't already brought up in previous videos. But one thing that is really pushing it higher this morning is the weekly registration numbers. So as a group, it did come in at 4,872. All three did improve from the previous week, but more specifically, Firefly and Envo did improve at a little bit higher rate than NIO. So NIO came in at 2,500, last week was 2,412. Firefly came in at 672, last week was 552. And then Envo came in at 1,700 versus 1,133 from last week. So pretty good stuff as far as this. So I think even given a normal day, this would really push NIO higher. But you do already have the pre-existing momentum, so I think this might make things even more interesting. So I'm going to go over some key levels to really watch for today, but when it comes down to shorts at the time of doing this video, they are increasing roughly around 73,000 shares during the pre-market. So they're not really doing all that much. Yesterday, they did return a significant amount, almost just shy of 4 million shares. So going into today, 11.53% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 177.84 million shares overall are being shorted. So as you can kind of see from this purple line, shorts have just, for whatever reason, just continuously returned. Some people have brought up in some comments of mine just the fact that they are returning just to double down later on, which could happen. We've seen that obviously be part of their strategy that they do, but for face value right now, it does look like they are kind of wanting NIO to really move higher, and this is kind of further validation that NIO is trading at a discount. Of course, I could be wrong, but let me know your general thoughts on that. So just kind of watch for shorts to be fairly active, because we've seen in the past when they are increasing during the pre-market, it goes to show that they might be doubling or tripling down during the trading day. So just kind of watch for that. But I also do want to go over the latest in 13Fs. So ultimately, you can kind of see right here that a lot of the big names in Q2 did increase their position in NIO, more specifically Blackrock. So they did increase 4.7 million shares. You also have right here Vanguard. They did increase their position 4.59. Nonetheless, you see pretty much everyone, with the exception of so far one, increasing their position. So big money during Q2 was taking advantage of kind of the cheaper prices, discounted prices, I guess, and accumulating. So definitely good to see. I know some people might not necessarily like Blackrock, Vanguard to really be getting in, because technically both of those and many others do buy just to potentially lend out shares just for shorting purposes, but still, again, just kind of for the mere fact that institutions are paying attention to NIO, I think that's kind of a positive thing. When it comes to the options, bulls are anticipating for it to be roughly around that $5 range by the end of this week still, so still a lot of optimism. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 450. So kind of have that pivot, and with us at 461 during the pre-market, there is a little bit more upside anticipated. With it right now at, I guess, 460, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So today, watch for 454 to be a strong support, because if that does fail to hold, then it could potentially consolidate a little bit further to that 431. Flip side, a key breakout level to watch for today is 468. If so, and if it's able to successfully close above that, then 492 will be the next strong target / resistance. So it's just a hop, skip, and jump to easily that $5 range. So things are definitely heating up with NIO. So give yourself a shout out if you have been buying or have you been selling, kind of taking advantage of kind of the price appreciation. Coming from an analyst standpoint, there hasn't been any. I would have anticipated a little bit more, but the last one that did come out was a buy 590. So most likely, if NIO is able to get above that kind of roughly a $5 range, this is where, as I mentioned, you might start to see more and more analyst ratings. But aside from that, though, on the actual chart itself, successfully getting above that 200-day moving average. So that is sitting at 436. So that's going to be a kind of a strong support that you just want to watch for. But generally speaking, this is kind of the pre-setup that happened in 2024, as I've mentioned. So things are looking pretty a-okay. Most likely you might see shorts get a little bit active, but as long as that 200-day moving average does hold today, and essentially that fib level of 450, then things will be still looking a-okay. So let me know your viewpoint on NIO. Do you think that we're going to be having higher highs, or do you think that this is where shorts really double down to try to suppress NIO? During the pre-market, it goes to show that big money is still buying up. So a lot of that is being done on the dark pool. So meaning hedge funds and whatever else. But one thing to take note of though, stochastic RSI is relatively overbought. So the first sign of weakness, you could see some consolidation. So don't be surprised if you have some volatility or increased volatility if a negative data point does come out, or even a negative PR associated to NIO. So let me know your viewpoint. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon. I do give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.